All right, Jim. Well, on that topic, why don't we talk a little bit about some recent retro action figures, retro wrestling action figures. I have a whole bunch of new ones here at Last Manor in the office.
These are getting to be quite popular. You know, they couldn't make a retro Cornette figure because everybody agrees that my appearance has not changed in 40 years. They can dust my hair a little bit with gray.
You are the retro Cornette figure.
I'm the retro figure, baby.
Well, first ones we have here, I have a couple new figures from the Hastel Toy Gimmicks and Grapplers line. This one here is one I was particularly excited about. I just put a picture of it on Instagram. It is the new Greg Girard figure, aka the artist formerly known as Oscar from Men on a Mission.
I didn't know that was his name.
Greg Garard, I guess. Garard.
Well, it could. There should be like a phonetic signal or a pronunciation guide on the. You know, that's a sign that maybe you're going really deep in the well on the action figures when you have to have a pronunciation guide for the fucking guy's name you're selling the figure at.
Well, you see, the thing is, and again, Hastel Toy they recently put out, I think it's sold out though, again, I can't call them Men on a Mission, the Nelson Frazier Jr. and Bobby Horn action figures, fellas with a purpose. You have those, you need an Oscar, but you can't call him Oscar. So it's Greg Girard. What do you think his finishing maneuver is?
Well, he was a manager and a rapper. He never wrestled. He didn't have one.
And it comes with an accessory, if that's a clue.
Oh, boy. The mic drop.
Son of a bitch. His finishing move
No, that's not.
It's the mic drop, and he comes with a little microphone. That's the first time on the first one you got it. Wow, do I have... Where's...
Because I was thinking, what could possibly be even stupider than the last round that we talked about?
It's a rowdy bunch of applause there. All right, we'll put this... This doesn't stop.
Yes, it's a very small crowd. So the mic drop was Greg Girard's... formerly Oscar, his finish, he never wrestled.
Do you agree that if you're going to make a Mo and Mabel, although under different names, action figure set, you kind of need him?
Well, yeah. See, that's the unwieldy thing of not owning your own name and or intellectual property or whatever. When you try to capitalize on fame that you had at one point, if you can't use the name, it's because a lot of people, they might remember, they're Oscar, Men on a Mission, but Greg Girard, and he's got a microphone. We don't know what the fuck. I feel bad for Oscar. I can still call him Oscar.
Well, you can call him whatever you want. You're not going to get sued over it.
I can call him Ray, or I can call him Jay, or I could call him Raymond, or I could call him Raymond J., but I doesn't got to call him Oscar.
Well, speaking of people who don't have their names, I have the next figure here from Hastel Toy. This is the new Mike Drosy action figure.
Ooh.
They can't call him Duke, so it's just Mike Drosy. It comes with a garbage pail. And what do you think his finishing maneuver is?
Well, now, wait a minute.
Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
The slop drop was the Godwins.
That's right.
I'm trying to think. Didn't he have some kind of garbage related finish that he did anyway? But and boy, again, what a rib! The guy gets on national television, and forever the most famous gimmick he'll have is that when he gets an action figure, it comes with its own garbage can. That's a disheartening type of thing. I can't remember what his finish was.
Well, the finish here is the Trash Bash.
Was it the trash but no, that was Trailer Park Trash that used the trash compactor, was the leg drop off the top rope.
So we're talking about this era of WWE, and now a lot of these wrestlers are being revisited for people who, it's really for people my age who had the Hasbros, that WWE Hasbro figures when they were kids. They're trying to, everyone that wasn't made from that era, they're trying to get in there, and some other people.
And there was a reason why some of these people weren't made. And I like Duke Drosy. He was a very nice guy, and wish he would have had chances as someone else somewhere else, but the gimmick was not cosmetically pleasing.
If someone approaches Tony Anthony about a TL Hopper figure, should he insist on also having a dirty white boy variant?
Boy, how
should it be an insistence?
I think it should be the dirty white boy figure, and the TL Hopper should be the variant coming with its own fucking toilet plunger for anybody to unstop their fucking brain if they think anybody wants a fucking action figure of TL Hopper.
So you say there's a chance.
Just a chance.
All right, Jim. Well, on the topic of these Hasbro-style retro figures, the company Figure Collections has a line of figures called Wrestle Something, and they have put out something, and the question really becomes, should you be getting a royalty on this?
What?
It is Mosh and Thrasher, the Headbangers.
Oh.
And they come here, they're wearing skirts, and they have their t-shirts, and it's a very good job they did of getting their face on here. It looks like them. Looks like Glenn Ruth and...
But now, what names are they using there?
On the packaging itself, Mosh and Thrasher.
Because they were there before the WWE, or they weren't there before. That doesn't make any sense. They were them. Instead of they were there, they were them before the WWE, because I gave them the gimmick in Smoky Mountain.
I have actually a little bit of a description here, and maybe this will answer something. Mosh and Thrasher have their first action figures in over 20 years with Wrestle Something Wrestler Series 1 by FC Toys. Can you believe the Headbangers have been without action figures since the late 90s? These figures have been in the works since 2021, when FC helped Chaz and Glenn get the trademarks to the Headbangers Mosh and Thrasher names. So apparently they just didn't have it. And WWE didn't have it.
Well, you know what? I bet that WWE didn't renew, if they did at one point trademark it, because I signed papers signing the rights, or any rights, or the intellectual property, or the gimmick over to the WWE so that they could employ those guys under those names.
Because it was
same thing with D'Lo Brown.
Because it was your intellectual property or Smoky Mountain's?
Well, we were just calling it mine since it was my idea, and I just was signing anything that would get them guys a job. So, so basically, I remember for Mosh and Thrasher and D'Lo, I did sign something that yes, you can have the rights to this thing or whatever.
So, what do you think? Should the creator of the gimmick be cut into these figures?
No, because then you have to determine the level of participation that the creator may have had. Because did he take an instrumental and just write some words, or did he create a song from whole cloth, or did he just adapt something that already existed and change the tempo, or did he just fucking erase the writer's name and put his own name on it? There's all kinds of stages of, so just ideas, concepts, where do you draw the line? No, as a booker, I always thought if I can give a guy a gimmick that he can make money with, then if he gets to be a big star, he'll come back and do me a favor.
Jim, another of the Hasbro-style retro toys, the Zombie Sailor official wrestling heels and faces figure line, just put out a one-man gang figure. This has the tattoos on the side of the head, as well as, and I opened one of them here, a denim jacket, or a denim vest, with one-man gang 747 on the back. Once again, Zombie Sailor did a great job with this. When it comes to the one-man gang, as someone who saw him as Crusher Broomfield, were you surprised when he became, not the one-man gang, but when he actually got the one-man gang look? Because he had the name before the look, but he was just a big guy with long hair, looked like a sea monster. And then all of a sudden, Gary Hart, I guess, got him the look.
Well, yeah, gang originally, he was one-man gang for ICW. Let me try that again. Ronnie Garvin was the one-man gang for ICW. That's what his nickname was. And Crusher Broomfield was Crusher Broomfield for ICW and in Memphis briefly. And then when he went to Mid-South, he got the one-man gang name, but he kept the Crusher Broomfield look, right? And then when he went to Dallas and Gary Hart got a hold of him, that's when he became the more modern version of the one-man gang that we remember. And that was with the mohawk haircut and the tattooed head and the fucking, the gang clothing, because he was supposedly from Halstead Street on the south side of Chicago. And that's what Gary loved, to take guys that had talent, natural talent, and were capable of having a look. Even if they didn't have it at that point, he could see what it was. And Whereas, they were Crusher Broomfield, and when Gang first got into business, he looked like if a member of the Allman Brothers from the early 70s was 6'6" and 350 pounds or whatever. He just long hair and beard, and he was a country boy. But Gary made him a fearsome gang member from the, wrong side of Chicago, and gave him a backstory and get little things like a Moon, the one-man gang.
Moon.
He'd give the, guys first names or the proper hometown or, whatever to fit the nationality or whatever they were trying to get across with the gimmick. So Gary liked to do that because it made it more, it made it a bigger draw if the guy was talented, and it made it more legitimate or more credible if there were little details that were filled in instead of this guy just looks like this and where the fuck did he come from? So that was when Gang really got and he was still, a country boy named George, but he looked like a goddamn monster, like he'd kill you. And his work at that point before, inevitably like Blackwell and like a lot of the guys, Bam Bam Bigelow, that size catches up with you quicker, age catches up with you quicker than regular size guys. But at one point, Gang was one of the best, most athletic workers in the business, even at that size.
You know what's a match I really like, and I'm afraid you're going to hate it because you weren't there and what it meant and everything. But Big Bubba versus One Man Gang, when Big Bubba won the UWF title when Dusty took over.
Oh, yes. No, they worked so
great.
well together.
Oh,
and
yeah.
And Gang was like a 5-year earlier version of Bubba. They were both that size, but both moved like much smaller guys and really understood, working and having an exciting match.
And that's what that match was. And of course, they became a tag team later on as Big Boss Man and Akeem, the Twin Towers. But Jim, next here I have some interesting figures. These are from the WWE line of superstars. They're kind of modeled after the, in a lot of ways, the Remco figures the AWA had in the 80s, or even He-Man, but with more joints and stuff. But I have here a Hulk Hogan figure.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought this stuff is going to be sold to kids, too. Are they putting drugs in the packaging?
Oh, no, I said it's like the 80s, so they have different joints and different things. No, joints in the elbows and stuff, but I have
vials of white powder in their trunks.
Well, here's something you probably never thought they would make, but it appears to be a 1979 Memphis Hulk Hogan figure.
I've heard about this.
It's Hulk Hogan. He has hair on his head. He has blue boots on, and he has a black jumpsuit of sorts. The only time I've ever seen him wear this outfit was that Memphis promo he did with Ed Leslie. Or what was he at the time? Dizzy Hogan.
No, he was Eddie Boulder.
Eddie Boulder. He wasn't even Dizzy Hogan. Point. He was Eddie Boulder.
Well, they were still brothers. They were the Boulder brothers.
What do you think of 79 Memphis action figures?
And well, I should maybe get something off of that because that was obviously taken off of the photos that I took. The only pictures of Hogan in the Memphis studio, as far as I know, I took them. And I've taken the various rookie year pictures that you see with the blue background and et cetera. But also you missed one thing. The 79 Hulk fit. Doesn't he have the mushroom cloud?
If I peel off the little Velcro, hold on. And I go.
They put his chest hair on with Velcro?
No, the Velcro is for the shirt because you can't have a real shirt here. You have to find a way to get it on and off these figures. He has a very shoddy paint job of what is supposed to be mushroom cloud chest hair.
Yeah, Fred, for those who don't remember or never saw it, when his rookie year, he had his chest hair and stomach hair shaved in the shape of a mushroom cloud to go up his chest. So that's how you can tell the early years. So yeah, going to be a lot of demand for that one.
Where did you think Hulk Hogan was going to go, like career-wise? I mean, you didn't know where the business was going to go, but did you think this is going to be a top guy or this is just a flash in the pan? He wasn't exactly stellar, but he had that look in 79.
Yeah, but he was so not natural, and the personality was not developed. And I don't know if I gave it a ton of thought one way or another. I knew he was never going to get over here because what he was doing was not getting over with anybody because they were both the shits. They were green. I don't know that I ever thought he would be the biggest star in the history of the business. I thought, yes, you can do something with a guy like this, but boy, he needs to do it somewhere else because he's killing this fucking show. But then a year later, when he kind of figured out the personality, and you can look back now, and Hogan's work with today's eyes didn't look that bad for a guy that size, and a lot of stuff he did from 81 through maybe 84, 85, and then he started really coasting. But this was this was Hulk Hogan where the promo really wasn't very good. And his work not only was not good, but it was awkward because he was green. So there was nothing, a lot of people say, well, Hogan's matches were always rotten, but the promos were great. He talked him into building. No, these promos weren't good, and the matches were worse because he was green. So that's why it didn't work in Memphis. And he was helped in Continental because he had the run with Andre, or the matches with Andre, a couple of them. And he was used more because,
And he had a manager. Didn't Billy Spears manage him too?
Yes, I believe for a time. And also, he'd learned a little bit more about what he was doing. Because pretty much after working under a mask in Florida, Tennessee was the first place he came. So then Continental, and then Georgia, he was Sterling Golden in Georgia. And it wasn't great, but he was getting better and trying out gimmicks and establishing his personality. So by the time, they brought him back here in 81 for that match with Lawler, but he'd already started going to Japan, and he'd already started establishing, a national presence, and had the heel run, or was having it at the time in the WWF. So it only took a couple of years because, a guy that looks like that, but boy, you couldn't really tell he was going to be a good promo or any kind of good worker during his run here in Memphis. And the bad thing was he was the one that stood out more than his brother Eddie.
Well, on that topic, Jim, I have here from the WWE, I believe this is the Legends line from Mattel, a brand new Jimmy Hart action figure. Now, unfortunately, this is Jimmy Hart when Hulk Hogan first went to WCW. Babyface, wearing orange and red, with a giant picture of Hulk Hogan on his back. But he's got the megaphone. So Jimmy Hart action figure. What do you think was Jimmy Hart's coolest? Let me rephrase that. When did he dress best? When was he cool? Because it's almost like a Paul Schaefer thing. Paul Schaefer was like that nerd that was kind of cool. And then all of a sudden he's wearing like sparkly jackets and he shaves his head and he's, he's very flamboyant, but he wasn't like that when he was younger and you first started to like him. Jimmy Hart, I always thought looked cool, and then he didn't. When do you think he looked his coolest?
Like you said, when the 90s, when he was more the hype man for Hogan, and the whole suit was centered around Hogan's face or whatever. Jimmy was more Jimmy himself in Memphis because that was what he was putting together his clothes based on what he could buy at the rock and roll stores in Memphis and the secondhand shops, and being more punk rock about it. When he got to the WWF, he was making more money. He had a budget. He could have shit made. But then he had an outfit to match everybody that he managed or was, associated with. And at that point, it was all over the place. I liked Jimmy Hart in Memphis when he was dressing kind of like Jimmy Hart would fucking dress. And I mean, it was still the piano key skinny ties and the top hats and the canes and the sequined lame lapels and pocket flaps on a tuxedo jacket with tails and shit like that. But it was Jimmy. And he was getting all that shit around Memphis.
I would say either 81, 82 or 84, 85 Jimmy Hart. Maybe the coolest Jimmy Hart, but...
Well, what happened to fucking 83?
Yeah, he's good there too, but I didn't want to just say...
I'll tell you what happened to 83. 83 is the year when they were working him to fucking death, and he just started wearing a goddamn, prison orange jumpsuit out there every night because he was working 5 times a night and getting juice.
Well, this action figure here has a megaphone. Vince McMahon was the one who gave him the megaphone. How do you think the megaphone would have worked in a territory like Mid-South for a heel manager.
Oh, good Lord. Well, and I don't know whether Vince gave him the megaphone or just allowed him to use it because somebody had to bring up Wakamatsu, didn't they? Remember OKY Wakamatsu in Calgary? Didn't he do the megaphone before Jimmy? Now I've stunned you.
No, I was on mute. I wasn't
Oh.
stunned. No, that is a good point. The question would be, how did it get from him to Jimmy Hart so that it would have been an idea that he used right when he got to the WWF?
Well, very possibly Danny Davis. Danny Davis and Ken Wayne spent a long time in Calgary, and also they were Nightmare and Speed in the original incarnation of the first family. And Danny Davis is one I got a ton of VHS tapes from because he used to take his video recorder and record everything. He was an early wrestling tape watcher. So that could have been the pipeline. The point is, these things travel. That was the perfect gimmick for Jimmy. How would it have translated in Mid-South? It would have been harder in the bigger buildings because those things are not goddamn the PA system for the Myriad Arena in Oklahoma City. But visually it still works. But those crowds were fucking loud though. But it would have actually probably gotten just as much heat as Jimmy did with it, even more heat in Mid-South, and it would have also been handy because those things are fairly sturdy, so when you needed to whack some motherfucker in the head, I've started going through a number of rackets between working with big guys like the Road Warriors and Duggan, Dr. Death, those guys, and then hitting the fans all the time. I was spending a lot of money on rackets. Megaphones may have been more durable.
Do you think you would have had more heat if you were running around ringside with a megaphone yelling?
I don't think we could have had more heat, but it would have been it would have been interesting.
Well,
And I was yelling anyway. That's what happened to my voice. I was trying to be heard naked throated in the top row of the balcony.
well, we've talked a lot about it, and we'll talk a lot more about it in the future weeks. 40 years ago, you guys had a ton of heat, and of course, we're talking retro figures. What better way to wrap this up than talk about the latest, the greatest, the biggest announcement in the world of retro figures, and of course, it's your announcement to make.
The Retro Kings, because we are retro. And boy, as a matter of fact, the big announcement, the major announcement, I made it when Brian Solomon was on the air instead of you. Did you miss the part where I mentioned that I talked to Stan Lane last week and his mother, Jean, will turn 104 years old this year?
Wow.
And I mentioned to Brian Solomon that, she still lives independently. And she had to give up driving, I believe it was a few years ago when she had a shoulder injury, and she was not happy about that. And if Stan ever mentions, well, Mom, you're 103 or anything that starts like that, she'll get mad. I'm just as surprised as I ever was. But I mentioned that I said, here we are. We've talked about the action figures that have been done for the 40th anniversary of the Midnight Express and the 4-pack that was a big hit with collectors, a few hundred still available at jimcornette.com. But I said, when we talked about the money going to the talent, we eliminated the middleman. And this is a project from jimcornette.com and Cornette's Collectibles to the fans out there. And so the boys are able to share in the proceeds. Dennis and Teresa are happy because, Dennis has survived cancer a couple times. He's mostly retired now from any kind of appearances, except occasionally. And this will help them out, especially with all the medical bills that they've gone through. And I said, obviously, Bobby is gone, but his kids and grandkids, who he's just had a couple more grandkids show up, it's going to help them. But I said, now, Stan, I'm talking about a 70-year-old man. And he's thanking the fans for purchasing the figures because it's helping him plan the rest of his mother's retirement. You don't get to say that often.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So, and think of his genetics.
Yeah, how long is he going to live?
His father was 90-something when he passed away. So Stan's retired from 2 different careers already. Now he's looking for a third. So he thanks you as well. But here's the big deal. And I know everybody's been waiting for me to get to the point. the second part, the part 2, the final chapter of the Midnight Express 40th anniversary celebration. The only negative feedback we heard on the 4-packs was, I just can't afford it, because there's 4 of them, and boy, we had the whole deluxe package. So tag team sets are now going to be available. You can get your favorite combination, Eaton and Lane or Eaton and Condrey, or both. And these are the same deal as from Figures Toy Company. They come in display boxes, illustrated with photos, and they come with an autographed photo along with the action figure set, personalized by me to your specifications and signed by Dennis and or Stan, whichever combination you're picking. I'm going to tease people more details next week, but there is, again, a very limited number, less than 50, of pictures with the Eaton and Condrey set that Bobby signed before he passed away. And those are going to be available, and they'll go quick like the last ones did. And also, while we're at it, since Tom had a contract with Figures Toy Company when we were doing this particular project, there'll be less than 1,000 of the Eaton and Condrey and Eaton and Lane action figure sets. As you'll recall, there were 2,000 of the 4-packs, and we've sold about 1,500 of those. So these I expect to go quick, but there will also be a limited edition 500 sets of Stan Lane and Tom Pritchard, the Heavenly Bodies, the original Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Champions, the picture on the back with the Smoky Mountain Tag Team title belts, and that comes with an autographed picture of all 3 of us. And the tag team sets start at only $99.95, so it's for everybody's budget. And once these are done, folks, and I'm going to have more details next week on my future plans, but once these are done, we're not redoing Midnight Figures. I don't have another 2-year project in me. This is the only place you can get them. They'll not be available anywhere else but JimCornette.com. And all I can say is get them while they last, because this will be the final chapter, as I mentioned, on the 4-packs in our Midnight Express celebration. This is going to be the last anniversary we do, because this is the last one that we started planning when Bobby was still around. So we're trying to go out with a bang. And by next week, the week of what is Monday? 22nd, 23rd, something around there.
22nd.
You should be able to go to JimCornette.com, and there will be banners with pictures and complete descriptions of what you get and what everything looks like. And everything will go on sale Saturday, February 10th at noon Eastern time. And be standing by, and we're going to try to organize with Hotchkiss where everything goes up right at noon. Because last time, I think he hit the button a minute too early and people got upset. But anyway, the Midnight Express, Eaton and Condrey, Eaton and Lane, and the Heavenly Bodies, Lane and Tom Pritchard, with autographed photos. And there's still going to be some packages with the Milestones Midnight Express book also. So February 10th, they'll go on sale next week. Check in at JimCornette.com, and you'll be able to see everything there. And the same thing again, as I mentioned, all the proceeds will be split evenly amongst the surviving Midnight members and Bobby's kids and grandkids.
All right, there it is, the Midnight Express action figures. Will the Stan Lane figure come with a little wig that you could put on the figure for the...
No, but we were thinking about including several very tiny bottles of baby oil, but we thought, well, no, we thought better of that.
Well, Jim, of course, you are in a wonderful position, because the members of the Cult of Cornette can go right to you, right to your website, right to JimCornette.com, and get those figures.
Bam, right there.
But a lot of people may be thinking, this is a lot of good ideas. Maybe I can create action figures of me and my friends or something.
Yes.
You would need a website. You need a store. I mean, they should look at what you've done and kind of mimic that business model, right?
Well, this is complicated. I mean, it's complicated. You got to have the store. You got to have the platform. You can't have the thing crashing on you, as happened to me in the past. You can't have, just all this chaos going on. You need people that know what they're doing with this thing and not some fly-by-night operation. It's very complicated. It should not be left in the hands of amateurs. You need to go to professionals on this thing. And that's why that we've said many times before, no matter what you're selling, even if you're selling like you're going to the electric chair, You need our friends at Shopify because no matter what you're selling in this time of year, maybe it's snow shovels, maybe it's furry collars to go around your neck, maybe it's those giant Russian Cossack hats like Tony Khan wears at media scrums to keep you warm in this cold environment this time of year, no matter what you're selling. If it's pencils in a tin cup, or if it's Broadway tickets, or if it's, who knows, giant automobiles, build your own cars and sell them online, whatever you want to sell, our friends at Shopify can help you do it because they are the global commerce platform that helps you sell at every stage of your business, no matter what stage of your business you're in, whether you're in the, oh my God, we're going broke stage, or the, oh my God, we're making so much money, we got to figure out a way to cheat on our taxes stage. No matter what, Shopify can help you from start to finish because, as I mentioned, they are the global leader. They're a no excuses business partner. It says that right here. No matter what goes wrong, they got no excuses for it.
Well, no, that's not what it means. What does it mean?
There's no excuses. I got nothing. Sell without needing to code. Shut up now, because we got to do this. Sell without needing to code or design. Just sell the shit. People will run up and throw money at you when you get one of these platform stores here on Shopify. Just bring your best ideas, even your worst ideas. They can make anything happen. If you want to sell ostriches, they can figure out a way to make them son of bitches fly.
Let's see, that's not how it works. And first of all, I don't think it's legal to sell ostriches online on the web. Secondly, they're not going to.
You got to do it in person.
If you have,
I don't see a lot of door-to-door ostrich salesmen.
If you have a product that you have created or have the rights to sell, you can create an online store, and they can help your commerce run freely or run well.
Freely? No, they're not going to make you give your shit away. They'll actually charge for it. With Shopify Magic, you can whip up captivating content that
never sounds real when you transition to Shopify Magic.
With Shopify Magic, you can whip up captivating content that converts from blog post to product description. You can make shit and suddenly it'll just change into something else. It'll convert into a completely different thing.
Magic.
You can generate instant FAQ answers. The answers to all your facts, FAQ.
Frequently asked questions.
FAQ answers. You can pick the perfect email send time. Apparently, if there's a time that's better than others for someone to receive your email, then they'll just bring it then. And Shopify makes getting paid simple by instantly accepting every type of payment. Every legal currency, coin of the realm, anywhere in the globe will be accepted instantly.
Legal tender. Any legal tender.
Yes, and they'll give you the rubles and the rupees and the Sharpies and the coins of various realms. And then, good luck taking that down to Walmart, though. Those fucking rupees, they can't figure out a way to convert. But anyway, Shopify grows with your business no matter how far or big you grow. So no matter how fat and corpulent you get, they will still service you until the inevitable end comes and your arteries are all clogged up. So marketing is made simple by Shopify, removing the guesswork with built-in tools. They send you an entire belt. You click it on and the tools are all built in right there where you can create, execute, and analyze.
There's no belt.
Your online marketing campaigns. If you execute something and it's dead, I guess it's a post-mortem. You can create, execute, and post-mortem your online marketing campaigns with Shopify. And I'll tell you what, Brian, it's cheap. It's almost free, like you said a minute ago. But they won't make you give your merchandise away for free. They'll just almost give this away for free because you can sign up for a $1 a month trial period. $1 a month. That's 3.3 cents per day. But good luck trying to cut that penny in thirds. $1 a month trial period at shopify.com/JCE. Now, this is very important. The JCE must be entered in lowercase because they put that in capitals here. That's why I know it's important. If you want to get this $1 a month trial period, Shopify.com/lowercase JCE. If you type it in capitals, not only will you not get the deal, but also something happens to your computer. I'm not sure what. Screen goes
You're not
black.
sure what, because nothing happens to the computer based on anything you just said.
Well, just follow my instructions if you want to be safe. Err on the side of caution. Shopify.com/JCE to grow your business no matter what state you're in, or stage you're in, or county, country. I guess they're all over the world.
Well,
Shopify.com/JCE. See, that's what's going to happen.
oh boy.
Every time, and you'll hear this in your sleep, folks, because they come and they install a loudspeaker in your home. So every time somebody buys something from you, you get the trademark cash register symbol and you know you've made some money. But goddamn, 24 hours a day at the fucking volume of a Who concert, that'll start driving you to distraction. Shopify.
That's right. And who are you? You're /JCE. Once again.
Who the fuck are you?
That's right. Well, I'm the host of the show, actually.
Yes, you are.
I'm getting a text message.
From the sponsor already?
Yeah,
Usually it takes them a day or two to quit.